Hi, I'm Ryan Urbanowitz, and welcome to part 2 of producing educational lecture videos with PowerPoint, OBS Studio, and Adobe Premiere Pro. In this video, we're going to cover hardware and software for recording and editing. Here's a quick overview of the videos included in this series. In our last video, we covered an overview of this video series, as well as having focused on preparing content in PowerPoint. As we move on to the next part of this video, we're going to briefly cover hardware. So again, here's an overview of our production process. And in the next few slides, we're just going to focus on this part. So in this section, I'm just going to talk about the hardware that I'm using currently. Of note, I am not a hardware expert. Some of the hardware I'm using is just what I already had available, and some of it I purchased specifically in preparation for making educational videos. So again, I'm just going to review my setup and give some very general recommendations. First up, let's look at an overview of the hardware I'm using. First, you need a computer, and I'd recommend having a computer with at least 2 monitors. However, of course, you could also use a laptop. Basically, you're going to need something powerful enough to run the software that we're going to need to do the recording of multiple sources and the video editing. Next, you're going to need a webcam or something to capture the video of you speaking if you want to include that footage. Typically, I find including footage of yourself makes the video a little more engaging. However, there are certainly arguments for the fact that adding video of yourself could also be a distraction. Next, you need a microphone. Yes, you can use the microphone on your webcam, but this is likely to give you much poorer quality audio capture. Probably the most important thing you can invest in is a decent microphone for your recording. So for example, something like a condenser microphone. Now let's dive into each of these pieces of hardware. So as a computer, I'm currently using an Alienware Aurora R10 PC. It has a 16-core, 64MB, and 4.7 GHz processor. It's set up with 64 GB of dual-channel memory, and it has an NVIDIA GeForce 2080 Ti graphics card. And the operating system I'm using is Windows 10. In general, you just want to make sure that your computer meets the minimum or recommended system requirements for the target software that you're going to be using. In this case, we're going to be using OBS Studio, and you can see the requirements using this link, as well as Adobe Premiere Pro, and you can find the computing requirements at this link. Next, let's talk about the webcam I'm using. Well, currently I'm using a C922 Pro HD Stream webcam. The critical thing to pay attention to here is that it records video in full HD 1080p. I'd recommend a camera that can at least capture at this quality in order to capture your webcam footage. Furthermore, this webcam has 30 frames per second for recording, which is suitable for our needs, but 60 might be even better. In general, you just want to pick something affordable that's easy to use and meets your video quality needs. As an add-on, you might want to invest in a green screen. This is something you can just hang behind you when you're recording and gives you the ability to more cleanly remove the background. And this gives you a little bit more flexibility in how you use your webcam footage in the final video product. In my case, I just have a very simple green curtain draped behind me, and I haven't invested in any special lighting either. Honestly, this isn't something you need, but you can certainly take the time to learn more about recording with a green screen to figure out if it's something you want to invest some time and money into. Lastly, we have the microphone, and I'm currently using a Blue Yeti X. This microphone has 4 condensers that allows you to record in 4 different modes. In other words, audio coming from directly in front of the mic, from all around the mic, from the front and back of the mic, and from the sides. Also of note, this microphone connects to my computer by USB, so I don't have to worry about investing in some other hardware to get the audio signal into my computer. Another thing you can buy for your microphone is a pop filter. This will help to avoid the recording of plosives, in other words, these rough pop sounds of air that end up being directed at the microphone. As general guidelines for microphone, again, I'd recommend a USB microphone for its simplicity of use and getting something that's going to work for your desired recording style and environment. Before moving on, let's briefly talk about the environment in which you're going to do your audio recording. First up, a good microphone is going to easily pick up a lot of background noise. This can include your PC fan, pets, people, air conditioners, anything. If you can, try to take steps to make your recording space as quiet as possible. This can include choosing a smaller room to do your recording in, remove or turn off any sound-producing devices in that space, and you can take steps to insulate the room from sound. For example, you can mount acoustic panels, hang blankets, or other tricks. Lastly, a good microphone can also be sensitive to vibrations. For example, if you have your PC on your desk like I do. To account for this, you could look into investing in a shock mount or a boom arm as pictured here. Of note, for these recordings, I just have my microphone on its base stand sitting directly in front of me on my desk. However, in the future, I might get one of these items to further try and improve my audio recording quality. Alright, moving on from hardware into software. And specifically, this is software for our recording and our editing. Going back to our production overview, the next slides are going to cover OBS Studio and Premiere Pro at a high level. In particular, I'm going to focus on why I've chosen them. We'll start with an overview of the software choice decision. As you might know, there are lots of software options and strategies available to make a video. In general, when you're picking software, you're going to have a basic trade-off between simplicity and ease of use and customizability. And covering all the possibilities is definitely outside the scope of this present video. Instead, I'm just going to cover my own strategy for assembling an educational video as a practical example. In no way am I claiming that this is the best strategy or the one that'll work best for you. However, the strategy that I am outlining in this video has a good balance between factors of budget, ease of use, and customizability. Let me walk you through my own specific needs and wants in being able to produce an educational video. First, when it came to capturing content, I wanted to be able to record my slides so that I was able to capture animations, highlights, writing, or the use of a laser pointer to my PowerPoint slides. I also wanted an approach that would give me the flexibility to capture my desktop and show my interaction with web pages, software, etc. Further, I wanted to include webcam footage of myself giving these presentations, as well as the ability to remove the background so that I could have a more professional looking video. And additionally, because I didn't want to reserve space on any specific PowerPoint slide for a webcam, I wanted to have the ability to make my webcam appear and disappear or be resized or repositioned from one slide to the next. And further, in some of my videos, I've created animations using Adobe Illustrator and Adobe After Effects, and I wanted a video production pipeline that would let me integrate those kinds of animations into the final video product. In terms of logistics, during the recording process, I wanted to be able to pause recording along the way, or have the ability to break a longer recording session into smaller ones. Furthermore, I wanted complete control over the ability to edit the video. So in other words, not just be able to trim the ends of the video, but cut out segments in the middle, as well as to be able to remove bad takes or pick from the best of multiple takes. And lastly, I wanted customizability in assembling the final composition, specifically to be able to rearrange content, clean up the audio quality, edit the appearance and placement of webcam footage, to be able to add introduction graphics or logos to my videos, and the ability to add background music. So now let's talk about software for the video and audio recording. For this, I'm using OBS Studio. OBS Studio is free, which is a no-brainer, and it allows you to capture simultaneously multiple separate sources of video or audio. So specifically here at the same time, I'm going to be capturing my PowerPoint slides, my webcam, and my microphone feed. Additionally, there was a plugin available for OBS, allowing you to remove the background and insert a virtual background, or use a green screen. And furthermore, OBS Studio allows you to fine-tune your audio recording, so you can actually make adjustments to audio quality up front. You can download OBS Studio using this link. Next, let's talk about the software I'm using for video and audio editing. Here I'm using Adobe Premiere Pro. I'm using this software in part because it's software I'm familiar with personally. I've used Adobe products for a number of projects, and I found them to be really versatile and customizable in terms of what you can make. I also happen to be a Windows operating system user, which is why I might not choose other Apple products, and I love how Adobe products seamlessly integrate together with one another. We can easily combine multiple video and audio sources, and we can add background music if desired. However, Adobe Premiere Pro is not free, and if you're interested in purchasing it, you can go to this link. In my case, I've purchased a subscription to Adobe Creative Cloud, which gives me access to Adobe Illustrator, Photoshop, After Effects, Premiere Pro, and others. However, if spending a bunch of money on Adobe products isn't for you, as I mentioned earlier, there's a pretty easy alternative where you can actually do recording and editing directly in PowerPoint. The advantages here are that you have no additional software to purchase. It's relatively easy to do the recording and editing. It gives you the ability to record content one slide at a time, and for each slide, you can trim the start and stop of each recording. You can also easily add and capture your laser, highlight, or marker on the screen, and you can add your webcam with or without a blurred background. You can also move or resize the webcam for each individual slide. However, on the downside, you're not able to edit your content in the middle of a single slide recording. Further, exporting your final video project is extremely slow. Also, if you want your webcam to disappear during the middle of recording a single slide's content, you need to manually turn it on or off while recording. And further, you can't make any additional edits to the overall compilation. And also, there's no way in PowerPoint to further improve or process the audio to improve its quality. So to reiterate, you can successfully record an entire presentation within PowerPoint itself without OBS Studio or Adobe Premiere Pro. However, you're going to be really limited in being able to tweak the quality and customization of that video project. If you want to learn more about making a video using just PowerPoint, you can check out this link. Thanks for joining me for part 2 of producing educational lecture videos using PowerPoint, OBS Studio, and Adobe Premiere Pro. My next video will cover recording with OBS Studio. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to follow my future content.